In today's lesson, we're going to be breaking down one of the most famous GroundTrick combos ever, the Owen. Now, there are a few key things that you should have on lockdown before trying the Owen. And those three things are your back nose press, both switch and regular, your front tail press, both switch and regular, your front side nose press spin, and your ability to scissor your legs, so the pullback. So you may be wondering, what exactly is an Owen? An Owen is a combo of a 270-degree rotation transitioned by two of the basic presses into another 270 rotation. So for example, in this video we're going to be learning the front side nose Owen, and the front side nose Owen is transitioned by two front tail presses. So front side nose into a front tail press, transition to another front tail press, and then 270 out. So let's do that one more time. 270 into a front tail, and then 270. So from here, front tail, 270 out. So just to show you a difference, let me show you a front side tail Owen. A front side tail Owen is going to be transitioned by the front nose press. So see how the transition press between the front tail Owen is a front nose to front nose, and the one we're learning today is front tail to front tail. And that is why you have to have your basic presses on lock before learning the Owen. So the first step of learning the Owen is this first 180-degree front side nose spin. So in order to get into a front side nose spin, we also have to be familiar with this back tail position on our board. This is a back tail position. So this back tail position is what we're going to use to initiate the rotation of our board. So we're going to do this 180 movements. So again, this is why the basic presses are so important, because you're going to be using them in all sorts of different combos. Now the back tail position is like this, where I'm turning my chest out and my shoulders out enough so that they're pointing in the same direction when I'm binding. This way, in this position, I get to turn my board. See, if I'm here, if I'm just balancing on my front leg, and I turn my chest out like this, you see how my board is going to start to go forward. So this is the movement you want to use to do the first rotation. A lot of people, they like jump into it and they use a big motion, and yes, that works, but we want to first start off learning the tricks with as little momentum as possible, because with momentum you can cheat, and we don't want to be cheating. We want to learn how to use no momentum, the least momentum possible, and just purely counter rotation to get the Owen down. So that's why if I go like this, pushing forward, I don't have to kick at all with my lower body, with my leg. All the rotation force is coming from my upper body, leading in that rotation. So the first step, jump into a press, want to lead, counter rotate with my upper body. That's the first 270. Jumping forward, counter rotating. So all the power, all the rotation should just be coming from your upper body leading and then counter rotating. We don't need to kick our board like this at all. And you can do that later on when you're more familiar with the movement of the Owen. You could do that to speed up the rotation, or you could do that just so you could like add some more variety and tempo to it. But for now, we just want to focus on using our upper and lower body's counter rotation to start and stop the movement. So, all from the upper body, counter rotate to stop, and then from here, counter rotate out. And that's going to be the full movement. So, if you're having trouble, let me do this facing that way so you guys can see. So this is going to be my downhill direction now. I'm going to wind up, get into this front tail position all the way here, and then from here, counter rotate my upper and lower body into this 270. So I want you to focus just on this aspect right here, this little portion. I want you to get really good at doing this first 270. Just practice this 270 until it becomes very, very smooth. Let me do a couple goofy for you guys. Yeah, so I don't even want you guys to focus on the switching it, just that initial 270 ending in a front tail press. I want you to be very, very familiar and comfortable with ending here and having your vision still facing downhill. So another important thing is where to look, where our vision is. So I'm going to constantly be looking downhill in the first 270. So from right here, I'm going to look downhill, keep my eyes downhill, and stay downhill like that. For example, I'm going to have my vision be locked onto this cross. And I'm going to just keep my eye on the cross. Boom, all the way. That way I could keep my shoulders and my head turned down towards the downhill direction. Another thing to look out for when you're doing this frontside nose press spin, this first initial 270, is you want to go in on a heel, middle, toe feeling. So this first part is going to be heel, and then it's going to be flat, and then when it gets here, it's going to be on your toes. So your pressure has to shift through the spin. So it's going to be heel, flat, toes. You got to shift your body weight very slightly throughout the whole rotation. If you're having trouble with this first 270 nose spin, I would practice just going flat onto your board, onto your nose, and then going like this, just turning in place, and you feeling that little slide, feeling that place where you're pressing completely flat, and just slide 90 by 90 first. 90, 90, 90, 90. And when you're sliding correctly, with no edge, you should hear very little scraping sound on the mat. It should almost be like a very quiet sound. And then once you are good with that, you can get the 90, 90, 90 down really smoothly. Then you can start doing 180s. And what you want to focus on when you're doing this is, since you're pressed already in this press position and you're flat, you're using this tension in your side right here, in your waist, to move and to twist. And your upper body twisting is going to send that tension through your torso, and it's going to drag your hips along. and your hips are going to drag your board. So see, I'm right here, already in a press. Arms up. Apply that tension. Apply that tension. Apply that tension. So you want to get used to getting here, applying that tension and holding that tension. So this is a common mistake a lot of people do. They go here, they apply the tension, and then they stop. They go like this, apply the tension, and they stop. So what we want to do is we want to apply the tension and keep holding that position all the way through without letting it come back, not even a little. So one more time, this is what you don't want to do. Apply tension, stop. Watch very closely to what my shoulders are doing and how they are in relation to my board. So this is the common mistake right here. Apply tension, back to being straight with my board. We want to apply tension and we want to stay in this twisted position all the time, the whole time through. Boom. So what we want to do is this. Apply tension. See how I'm still twisted? My shoulders were still perpendicular to the board. So that's how we're going to get the first 270. And where you want to start counter rotating is when your board gets about to the 180 position. So I'm going to go here. Let's wait till my board is 180. Counter rotate my upper and lower body. 180, counter rotate. Alright, so moving on to the second part of the trick. So if we end up in this 270 position, what we need to practice is switching really smoothly and effortlessly to this second front tail press position. So we want to switch from here to here, very, very smoothly. So the first thing we want to do is just go from here and just sit into a front tail press on our other leg and be able to slide that board out. From here, here. And the same thing on this side. When we sit into this press, we want to hold this twisted press position. We don't want to just sit and come back out like this. This is the common mistake a lot of people do. They're in this front tail, they sit in this front tail, and they come out. They end up in like this weird, awkward position where they can't scissor out anymore. So you want to go from here, stay in this twisted press position, that way you could scissor out. So first practice this. Front tail press spin. And just spin it out. Don't even worry about it. The next progression will be front tail press, scissor. Okay? So after you're good with that scissor, now you could add a little hop. So when you switch front tail presses, you're gonna hop off your left leg like this. Same exact thing. Same exact thing as just switching legs, but now when you're switching, you're gonna hop off your left leg. And the hop is gonna kind of look like a step back. So see, I'm here. If you look at my left leg, I'm gonna step back like this. Here, here. So I'm gonna start here with my edge engaged, a lot of pressure on the tongue of my boot. Using that tongue as your support, we're gonna jump off into our other press and just spin it out. Now the last step is to add that scissor and hop. So when you're here in this front tail position and we jump into this front tail, we want to scissor and hop off our right leg at the same time. So after we jump into this other front tail press and our board gets about 180, that's the point where we want to do like this ollie, because this is basically an ollie, and we're gonna scissor at the same time. So you're like pushing your right leg forward while pulling your left leg back, releasing that pressure, like bah, to pop your board off the ground. So, what you don't want to do is you don't want to be here and like jumping off. Like you don't want to feel like you're like mauling off one leg straight up like that. This is not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to do that motion. So, the motion that you want to feel is boom, you're shooting your right leg forward like that. You're shooting it forward and you're pulling back your left leg, and this loaded position like this loaded position is what springs your board off the ground. So like this, one more time, I'll show you from this position. So if you're struggling and running into a lot of difficulties learning the Owen, it could be a couple things. Number one, it could be that your fundamentals are lacking. So you need to practice your basic presses more, your press spins more, and also your scissoring more. Number two, it could also be your equipment. So if you don't have a flexi ground trick board with soft torsional flex, it could be holding you back a lot. A stiff board is going to really pull you back down into place a lot more than this soft ground trick board. See, a soft ground trick board has some initial play. Like it's really easy for me to lift this part initially, and then it gets repulsive at the end. So this initial play, this initial flex is going to allow me to sit into my press positions, torsally twist my board a lot easier than other boards. So Japanese ground trick board like the one I'm on today, or one of these spread boards behind me, they have a softer flex, allowing you to flex your board a lot easier. So when you sit down into a press, the board kind of flexes with you, and you don't have to like pull it so actively or fight your board pulling you back. If you have a very stiff board and you lift it and you can feel it immediately want to pull you back, then your board is most likely too stiff. So I could honestly just lean over here and the board will just allow me to hold me in this position because it has that soft initial flex, and then it gets stiff. So you don't want to have your board immediately pull you back down like that. If you pull your board up and you feel like this force pulling you back down like that, then your board is too stiff for you. So you want a board that allows you to sit in these press positions very, very effortlessly, and that's going to help you learn these tricks a lot faster. On top of your ground trick board, another piece of equipment you really need is some sort of slippery training mat. So the butter pad is going to be your best option, but if you want to try using on a carpet, try to find this very slippery carpet, you can, but your results aren't just going to be as good. The last thing that will help you learn this trick is doing form review on yourself. So get some sort of tripod or some way to set up your camera so that you could watch how your form is when you're doing these motions, and you can compare it to mine in this video. You have to spend that time to compare your own form to my form so that you can see if you're actually doing it right. A lot of times when we don't watch ourselves and we don't have that footage, we feel like we're doing the right trick. We feel like we're doing it really good, but we're actually not. And you won't find out until you actually spend some time breaking down your video and giving yourself some movement analysis. So to recap today's video, the number one lesson I want you to walk away with is when learning these more advanced combos, break them down into little digestible steps, practice those steps individually, review your form for those little steps, and then once your form is good, once you feel confident, put them together, and then you'll have your combo. We don't want to practice everything all together right off the bat. That's how we build bad habits. We don't want to force things with momentum because that's how we build bad habits. So break down the trick into step by step, give yourself movement analysis on each step, and you'll have it in no time. If you enjoyed the contents of this video, please like and subscribe, and thank you for letting me share my passion of Gratori with you. I'll see you in the next one.
Yo, thank you again for watching this video. Remember to subscribe to join the dojo, and let's train hard and get butter together.